From the outset, he was Francis the Informal, asking those who cheered his election to bless him before he blessed them. Cardinal Jorge Bergoglio called himself after the radical St. Francis, serving notice that reforms were in store. He rejected the traditional lavish papal apartment and appointed a council of 8 cardinals from around the globe to restructure the Vatican administration and tackle corruption. They began by closing questionable accounts in the Vatican Bank. He broke new ground by establishing a commission on child protection which included survivor advocates like the Irishwoman Mary Collins, but she resigned 3 years later over a failure by a Vatican department to comply with the recommendation that all correspondence from victims and survivors should receive a response. On his first trip outside of Rome, Pope Francis visited Lampedusa as the migrant crisis swept across the Mediterranean, and he horrified traditionalists by washing the feet of women and Muslims during his first Holy Week ceremony as Pope. When asked about homosexuality at the beginning of his papacy, he said, "Who am I to judge?" He later approved blessings for same-sex couples and signed a doctrine office document allowing transgender people to be baptized and serve as godparents. But in latter years, he had to apologize for using extremely derogatory language about gay men. Many highlighted his closeness to the poor, whether it was in developed countries, in the third world, or where the two meet, for example in refugee camps in Greece. His appointments of bishops and cardinals favored both developing nations and newer perspectives, promoting many people from the margins despite the tightly regimented hierarchy handed down to him by his predecessors. His teaching document on the environment, Laudato Si', influenced the World Climate Summit in Paris in 2015, calling on the human family to defend Mother Earth. In the summer of 2018, he visited Ireland as part of the World Meeting of Families, where he was confronted with the controversy surrounding mother and baby homes. He said he hoped his visit would help grow unity and reconciliation among Christians on the island of Ireland. During a mass in the Phoenix Park, he asked for forgiveness. 2 years later, as the world grappled with the impact of COVID-19, places of worship worldwide were forced to close, including Catholic churches. Pope Francis used the global pandemic to reiterate the central message of his papacy, calling for an end to the pandemic of poverty worldwide. He also announced a synod on synodality in the Catholic Church, offering Catholics worldwide a say in the nature and future of their church. It resulted in proposals for church renewal, including the expansion of women's leadership roles, greater lay participation in decision-making, and structural reforms. In March 2021, at the age of 84, the pontiff made an unprecedented visit to Iraq under tight security in an effort to offer hope to Iraq's minority Christian community. In one of the most significant moments of the trip, Pope Francis met Iraq's Shia leader, the Grand Ayatollah Ali al-Sistani. On a visit to Canada in 2022, Pope Francis apologized to Indigenous communities for the abuse they suffered at residential Catholic schools, which were in existence from the late 1800s to the 1990s. He used a wheelchair due to strained knee ligaments and acknowledged that his week-long Canadian pilgrimage was a test that showed he needed to slow down and one day possibly retire. The Pope's predecessor, Emeritus Pope Benedict, opened a path to resignation and remained on Vatican grounds until he passed away on New Year's Eve in 2022. Pope Francis presided over the funeral in a unique ceremony which was carefully organized by the Vatican. As wars raged in Ukraine and Gaza, Pope Francis continuously called for peace. And the year 2025 marked a Jubilee year for the Catholic Church, the Jubilee of Hope. In February, the Pope wrote to US bishops to express his condemnation of mass deportations by the Trump administration, calling on those bishops to walk together to defend the human dignity of the migrants in their country. In his effort to reform the social and economic policies of the Vatican, Pope Francis had his critics. But he was greatly admired by people of all faiths worldwide. A man of the people, he'll be remembered for his courage, his compassion, and his humility.
Welcome to TeamSam TV, your channel for the latest news updates. Here, we break down the biggest stories from around the globe, covering everything from breaking news to politics. Whether you want to stay informed or just catch up on what's happening, we've got you covered. So, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on the latest news. Join the TeamSam TV family and let's explore the world together, one update at a time.